This is the Taeyangho. On board is Kim Jong Un, the head of state of North Korea. The supreme leader rarely leaves his country, but when he does, it is only on his traveling fortress. Here, the train is just leaving the North Korean capital Pyongyang. Its destination is the Wostocchni Cosmodrome, a spaceport in the southeast of Russia, where Kim meets with Vladimir Putin. Kim has many enemies. His journey takes him about 2 days on over 1,000 kilometers through foreign state territory. Today on Wikivedia Plus, we will learn about Kim's fortified castle where he moves. Have fun! How does the Taeyangho grant his security? The Taeyangho is escorted by 2 other trains. One drives ahead of the presidential train to check the route for threats such as planted bombs or possible ambushes. The other secures the rear part of the convoy. It is staffed to the roof with additional security personnel who could come to the leader's aid in an emergency. Further support comes from above as the moving fortress rolls through North Korea, it is monitored by a helicopter. Transport planes with even more personnel are stationed at the airports near the route. The Taeyangho's windows are bulletproof. The walls and floors of the wagons are reinforced to protect against explosive attacks. The armored train carries heavy guns in wagons. In the event of an air attack, the rolling fortress can defend itself with anti-aircraft guns as well as anti-tank missiles and machine guns to repel possible ground offensives, and if all else fails, Kim can escape in his personal escape helicopter. Kim's train is extremely safe, but also extremely heavy, which is why the armored train creeps through the country at a sluggish 60 kilometers per hour, sometimes even slower, because the North Korean rail network is partly in a miserable condition. Every time you pass through the station, all other tracks lose power. Capped 20 train stations across the country were built just for this gigantic train. Because the Taeyangho is so slow, Kim often spends several days at a time on the rails, as was the case on this trip to Russia, which is why the supreme leader has everything on board to rule his country day and night. An office with a desk, laptop, television, fax, and satellite telephone. As well as a map of China and the Korean peninsula, it has a reception room and a meeting room with a conference table. The interior is a wild mix. Most of the rooms are completely white. With shiny drilled wooden floors, there are green and pink ones, ivory sofas, and turquoise curtains, flower-shaped lamps, and zebra print seat cushions. But the highlight of the train is the onboard restaurant, which serves culinary delicacies from Korean cuisine, but also from Russia, China, Japan, and France. So that the dictator doesn't get bored, plenty of entertainment is provided. The onboard staff includes singers who sing the dictator's personal serenades. The Taeyangho reaches its destination station in Russia. Kim is still on board in a bulletproof Mercedes Moose that travels the last 1.5 kilometers. Traveling by train has a long tradition in the Kim dynasty. This is the Kumusan Palace. Here are the bodies of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il are displayed, next to the mortal remains of the ex-dictators, and there are life-size models of their private train compartments. There is even said to be a painting of Kim Jong-il in a proud pose next to his train. The train journeys originally began as a safety precaution, and Kim Jong-il is said to have suffered from a fear of flying. In 2001, he traveled to Moscow on his train for almost a whole month, covering a total of 20,000 kilometers. On this journey, he was accompanied by a Russian official named Konstantin Polikovsky. He then published a book about his experiences, which was offended by both the Russian and North Korean governments. The rulers in North Korea had always ensured that as little as possible was known about their trains and journeys. It was never announced when or where they were going. At best, rumors circulated about the inner workings of the trains. In 2004, Kim Jong-un's train passes through the train station in the city of Rongchon, near the border with China. Just a few hours later, there is a huge explosion there. About 160 people are killed and another 1,300 are injured. The authorities claim that it was caused by oil, and a chemical-laden train came into contact with a defective overhead line. But there are also rumors of a failed assassination attempt. That would not be entirely unlikely. According to reports, there have been repeated power struggles in North Korea over the decades. After this incident, the train's safety standards were also supposedly tightened. In 2009, Russian photographers were banned from taking photos of the train. Kim Jong-il was on his way to a meeting with then-President Dmitry Medvedev in Siberia. Entire villages were put under house arrest until the train had passed. In the smartphone age, of course, this is no longer possible, and sometimes it is not necessarily wanted at all. The train has long been part of the North Korean propaganda. Taeyangho means sun. The train has actually developed a lot of charisma in North Korea. Kim Jong Un wants to appear down to earth and close to the people as a counter to the arrogant US president in his pompous jumbo jet. Either way, it has a symbolic character. When political leaders travel by train after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the airspace over the country was considered unsafe. Since then, many Western politicians took the train to Kiev via Poland. This practice soon became known as iron diplomacy. In the case of North Korea, the Taeyangho also symbolizes how unusually isolated the country on the international stage is. The North Korean rulers almost never leave their country to visit other parts of the world. Apart from that, it is also somehow ironic that I portray the Kim family as humble and down-to-earth with this trait. Every trip has a destination. Kim's Mercedes finally arrives at the Wostocchni Cosmodrome, where he is greeted with one of the longest and perhaps most unpleasant handshakes of all time. There is the complete tour of the spaceport, aircraft factory, and the Pacific Fleet. After that, there is vodka, a ballet performance, and a real show, quite serious reason Russia is going to war against Ukraine. At this point in time, both the ammunition and the allies from North Korea has plenty of ammunition and no group to provide them. In return, the country is hoping for technical support from Russia for the construction of new satellites and rockets for its nuclear weapons program. In the end, no official result is announced, but a little later, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov travels to Pyongyang. There, he thanks North Korea for its support in the Ukraine conflict and reaffirms the partnership of both countries. In return, North Korea officially recognizes all areas conquered by Russian troops as Russian territory. Lavrov does not comment on potential arms deals, but according to the US government, North Korea has already delivered over 1,000 containers full of ammunition and military equipment to Russia. The Taeyangho is primarily intended to be a symbol of North Korea's strength, but it also symbolizes how isolated the state is. On the international stage, Vladimir Putin has meanwhile accepted Kim's invitation to make a return visit to North Korea. Maybe this is a good opportunity to flex with his own top-secret security platoon. Well, folks, and with that, we end our video today. Write us your thoughts on this in the comments and let us know about which topics we should make a video about. Otherwise, subscribe to our channel and see you next time here at Wikivedia Plus. Thank you all for watching to the end. I hope you enjoyed our content. A big hug, and until then, bye.